we're going to look into the Kimberly market. We were talking a little bit about this beforehand, and we looked at it and realized there's an insane amount of money, and there's a lot more rental demand and pricing than you were expecting. So tell us a little bit about the Kimberly market.
Yeah, Kimberly's kind of, Robert mentioned this earlier, that, whereas the initial growth in Metro Birmingham was pushing south along the I-65 and the 280 corridors. A lot of it's going north now along I-65, heading up towards Huntsville. So Gardendale, which is another city, and we may talk about that here in a little bit, is kind of just north of town. And then Kimberly's just a little bit further. So you're only talking about probably 20 minutes from the downtown Birmingham area. But yeah, the average income there is pushing 100,000. I think it's like 96, 97,000, which is substantially higher than the average in Alabama, and I think even the national average. Average housing prices are in the 300s there. I think 330, 335, something like that. Very strong schools there, very oriented towards families or young professionals that want a relatively easy commute, but with kind of a little bit more of a quiet place, that they're not right down in the downtown area.
Yeah, and we have properties in Kimberly ranging anywhere from like 260 up to 335, kind of where you were saying that midpoint there. And one of the things when we were looking that we were shocked at was the home ownership rate that's in the,
Right.
likely based on some of the numbers we've seen are in the 90 percentile. So if you've got good schools and a 95% home ownership rate in an area that the average income is 96,000, and I think whenever I was doing my research on Alabama, the average is like 65 to 70,000 in Alabama. I mean, you're talking about an area that can afford to buy these homes, whenever you're looking to sell in, 7, 8 years, plus, you're going to see some pretty good appreciation whenever, that's all said and done. Plus you've got, 5 to 10% of people who are renting. And so you've got people who want to come in and get into those good schools that Frank was just talking about and can really drive up your rent rates over time. So I don't know. Have you all heard anything from the property management team about like lease up times or anything like that in the area?
Yeah, we're averaging about 2 weeks on that, and that's one of the things that's really what was eye-opening is they've been pushing for us to have more homes up there because, as you said, 95% of the people are homeowners. But I think that would go higher if there was more options, and that's been the biggest thing is there's no competition on the rental side, and that's why we're, renting these houses so quickly.
Just kind of we talked with the team in Texas, like, well, there aren't many rentals, so we just threw out a number, and then whenever that rented that quickly, we thought, oh well, we better go higher.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah, I know we're thinking, dang, did we go a little too low on the rent rate? But no, the numbers work, and so we're excited about the market.
yeah, and if the numbers work now, just imagine what they'll look like in 3, 4, 5 years. Because I know overall, when we talked in the past, I think y'all were telling me that the average rent growth in Alabama is like has averaged somewhere around like was it 5% or
The,
something?
the appreciation on the home price is about that 5 to 6, 7%, but rental is around that 3 to 4%, depending on across the board. But obviously, some areas are higher than others.
Yeah, I love it. And you make it seem like a 3 to 4% rental increases. Yeah, that's, you
Yeah,
got to suffer. You got to suffer through that.